Hi, I'm Sean McVeigh with Sean's Outdoor Adventures, and I want to share with you some of the things that happened in this black bear hunt I put together this past year in Pennsylvania, the 2015 hunting season. Now, I was hoping that we were going to do well because I saw a lot of black bears from the tree stand during archery season, and we tried hunting those same spots. We had a few close encounters, never able to get any shots off, and we never got any of it on film, any of the bears on film. I got a little bit, some deer on film at one point, but probably the most exciting thing was the very last morning. My cousin had a really cool encounter with one. I'm going to share that with you, but before I do, I'll just share a little bit of the information I gave them the night before we started to hunt, in case any of those tips help you out. And then I want to share with you one of the crazy things that happened during the hunt, and then we'll go to what happened with my cousin at the end. All right, one of the things we're going to do tomorrow in the morning sit, though, is we're probably just going to sit on the ground rather than get up in tree stands. And because just the whole nature of what we're doing, and we're going to be doing a drive straight from there, it's just a lot to be lugging a tree stand for a mile through the woods type of a thing. But when you're also hunting out here on a hillside, when you get up in a tree stand, you know, the hillside's right here, you're looking eye level with the animal anyway. So it's not like you're getting any advantage at all. In fact, you stand out even more. So here's what I want to talk about as far as our setups in the morning. And this is what I was going to ask for your help. So, like, John, just step out here. When you're setting up in the morning, say John's a tree. A lot of people will get right up and lean against a tree and things like that. What you actually want to do when you get to a spot where you're ready to set up is clear 360 degrees all the way around the tree, clear the leaves back a couple feet, and then holding your bow, check your arrow, keep an arrow distance away from the tree, and basically stand still. If you hear something moving, pivot so that the tree is between you and that, like if the bear's over there, so you can be peeking around the tree and be watching. And then let's say you see a bear. What you want to do is slowly maneuver so that the tree's between you and the head of the bear. So try to move back until you see the back end of the bear, and keep, you got the ground cleared of branches, twigs, things like that, so you should be able to do this kind of quietly. Now, if let's say the bear is coming within range, you're going to get a shot. At this point in time, you come to full draw. It's not seeing your motion because the way you have the tree between you and the head of the bear, and now you're just waiting for it to step out. You're not pivoting anymore, and you take your shot. So that's how we're going to be kind of doing our hunt in the morning. We're going to be on the ground, but that's the most effective way. Now, if you get tired, let's say you're standing there, I have a tree step that straps around the tree that I can hang the bow on. I can hang the bow and still be standing here. But if you do get tired and you feel like you need to lean against something or sit down, if you have a particular direction you think that the bears could be moving from, go to the side of the tree where you're facing that and lean against the tree. And then as soon as you hear any kind of movement that you think could be a bear, get yourself moving in position to where you're now behind the tree again. And you're using the tree as a pivot, to help block any movement. Because, as long as the wind's in your favor, the other thing you have to overcome is the movement. And bear's eyesight isn't that great, so you should be able to. So anyway, that's one tip I wanted to give you guys for in the morning. So on the one day of the hunt, we were driving from one area to a place that was like 40 minutes away. I had run trail cameras all over the place, and I had black bear pictures all over, especially at this one spot. I was really looking forward to giving it a try. But while we're driving there, Tammy says, "I just saw a dead albino deer back there." And we were like, "What?" So it's a guardrail road, so we have to kind of go way down this hill so we can pull off. And we're like doing a 5K run back up, to where she saw this thing.
Looks like we stole something.
We're running a 5K.
I think it's a rock. I think it's a rock.
It's got antlers.
No, that's a deer. You can see the arrow.
It's got antlers.
You got antlers?
Yeah.
That's cool. I ran down there. There's so much excitement.
Baby buck. Fresh kill. When we get over there, we see it's a game preserve. There's a huge fence that we didn't even see from the road. We're now walking back, and as you can see, the vehicles are still not in sight. Coming around the bend, and there's the trucks way down there. Now we're going to meet up with my cousin Dennis as he recounts what happened with him the last morning of the hunt. So give me a rundown, man.
That was awesome, number one. But I was sitting there, and I guess it was about 5 of 9, something like that. Yeah. And I saw just a little brown spot between where I thought Pat was sitting. He actually wasn't sitting quite where I thought he was. And oh, that's a bear. You know, and I just kind of stood there because he was walking. I was up the hill from him, and he was just walking.
Now, was it black? Because you said you saw a brown spot.
It was a black bear.
Black bear.
It was a black bear, but it was just, you know, it's that dark brown that they are. And I was just kind of walking away from me. I was like, oh, that's cool. I get to see a bear. Then he started like looping back up the mountain. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna get a shot at this. So like, you know, I got myself together real quick and got close to the tree, and he just looped around in a half circle about 60 yards away from me, and kind of went up the mountain. And when he was at my elevation on the mountain, I could see he like noticed something was up over where I was. I wasn't quite sure what it was. Didn't seem spooked or anything.
Which way was the wind blowing toward him at that point?
No, not yet.
Okay.
The wind was blowing down the mountain at this point where he's heading.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, I'm going to investigate this more is what it seemed like he was doing. Then he just kept going up, and I kind of picked the spot, and I was like, if he steps in that spot, and I was like, that's a little bit far and it's a little bit thick. And he didn't, thank God. I didn't have to like make that decision, you know, whether or not to regret it. It was a little bit far for me, it was too thick. And he just looped around, and he came in closer as he looped around, but he got in some really thick stuff up the mountain. So like I lost him for a little bit, which after he left, I kind of walked around to see how far everything was, and that was probably 40 yards away.
Okay.
But I couldn't see him, it was so thick. And then he came out a little bit further up the mountain, which was probably 45, 50 yards away, and I could see that like he had made me. He knew something was going on down there. He didn't seem freaked out or spooked, but he knew something was going on. And by that point, I was saying to Pat, like, as he's walking around there, like, I could feel the wind blowing down the mountain on my face as he's climbing the mountain. Yeah. And I was like, this is not happening. So I pulled down my mask and just kind of looked, and I was like, yeah, this is happening to me. You know what I mean? Like, and he went up, and that's about, you know, as close as he got to me. And I was on the other side of the tree at this point and just hoping. I had picked some spots that were probably about 40 yards out that were 10 or 15 yards away from him if he had kept going on that path. And I was like, I'm going to take these shots. They're clear enough. I've won it, and then another one I would have took if, you know, if it had presented itself. And he just kind of stood there for a little bit, and I could see like he knew something was up where I was. I just stayed there, and he just kind of kept just ambling up the mountain. And then that's when I texted you guys once he started really heading up the mountain. And then a few minutes later, I could see like just a path he took. He was about to like go over a different crest. He didn't go up it like I thought he went over here, and I could see him. And I thought he doubled back. But I think that was just a part of his path, and he just stopped maybe to investigate a little bit more than kept going. He didn't hang out long.
He went right up to the point where I put that pin and told you to go.
I was on the bear trail. You know, it's funny because I went to those rocks. You know, I was... What I think from what you described was the bear trail. And I went and found a tree. I initially stopped like at the base of it where all like it gets real rocky and there was like a clearing. And then I looked up and I was like, oh, that'd be a much better tree because I could see how it like funnels in a certain like, in a half circle. So I kind of set up 20, 25 yards away from like a nice clear shot up from it. And he followed that exact same path, just another 25, 30 yards out. Right. The exact same path, like just on the other side of those fallen trees. He just went up them. Like you said, when we were at level, he realized, like, oh, something's going on over there. You know, but then kept going. And then he like really had made me once the wind was blowing at his back down on him. I mean, the other way. I'm sorry. So once he was downwind of me is what I'm trying to say. I'm just a little excited because I saw a big black bear. Once he was downwind of me, it was like,
He was like, I know who you
Yeah,
are,
exactly.
and I'm gonna leave.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I got you, dude. And you see he was still curious. You didn't see him like he was like freaked out. He was
So,
like,
I mean, I know you're not used to seeing black bears. Is that the first one you really got a good look at in the wild? Or,
oh,
I mean,
in a few years.
so, I mean, how much would you guess he weighed? Like,
Between 300 and 400 pounds.
That's a good
When
one.
I first saw him, I thought, and I didn't think how big is he. I thought that's a 400-pound bear.
Right.
And that was when he was. But after I thought he was walking away and he started to turn, I was like, oh goodness, you know what I mean? Like, wow. And then when he stopped and he like was initially curious about me, I was looking at his head. And I was like, that really is a big bear.
That's a big head.
I think he was 400 pounds. He was definitely north of 300.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think he was 400 pounds. And I was like, that's a nice sized bear for Pennsylvania. You know what I mean? So I could see it just from the size of his
anywhere.
head. Yeah. I was like, just from the size of his head, he's every bit as big as I think he is.
Yeah.
Because I normally, like, you don't get that chance to have them look at you in your direction and make that, like, shape out, you know? But once he got downwind of me, which is where he was going, I think, after that, to figure out what the heck was going on.
When you pulled your mask down, originally you said the wind was coming towards you.
I misspoke.
Yeah,
Like,
so the wind was going to him at that point.
Yeah, well, the wind at that point was coming up the mountain.
Yeah.
I could feel it in my face. And, like, when he had done that, I went like this.
Right.
And I was like, oh, no, this isn't happening.
Yeah.
Because I could feel it, like,
Yeah.
on this cheek. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I just, you know, a little excited. I'm like, you know, not...
Right.
Yeah.
You're not speaking correctly.
Exactly. He that's why he was moving on that path. When he
Right.
realized something was going on over here, he was
Yeah.
on the bear track or whatever, bear trail. And he was like, let me investigate this more. And that's when he did that half circle because the wind was blowing like this. And then I went like this is not happening to me because this thing is moving perfectly, you know? And that's when I pulled down. I was like, yes, this is happening. Because I couldn't see him and he couldn't see me. And I was like, yeah, this is happening. But he, like I said, I think he did that, obviously did that on purpose. You know, to get downwind of me.
Yeah.
So, but that was an awesome experience, man.
That's awesome.
And it was exactly where you said it would be. You put me on the bear.
Well, that's good. Praise the Lord.
I'll tell you what, we had a lot of fun doing that black bear hunt. And yeah, we hunted for about 2 days and we didn't score on anything. 2 days isn't a whole lot of time to score on something. But maybe next year, if we do it again, maybe we'll take the lessons we learned from this hunt and we'll put them to practice and see if we can capitalize and maybe get one next year. Who knows? We'll see. Till then, take care and God bless.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3.